Welcome back to the Jesse Van Halen podcast. Today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you guys about my job, walking you through key components of aspects of my job as a pool builder. So I know it's not the Jehovah's Witness stuff or the health stuff. Those are all key components that I want this page to be about, my overall life, how I run. I want this page to be an encouragement to somebody. So maybe on some small aspects of my life, you can take it and encourage yourself and hopefully you follow along. I am not perfect in any way, but I just want to be an encouragement. This vlog, this YouTube, whatever it end up becoming, I hope I change someone's life for the better. I'm a believer. I'm a Christian man. I'm a husband. I'm a father. And I also, have a job to provide for my family. So those are very important to me, as well as my health. I want to be healthy for my family, be healthy for myself, and be able to play with my daughter as she gets older and runs around. And me and my wife, we love adventure. So that's what this page is going to be about. But today, I'm going to be talking about in this episode about my job. So there's three main components I'm going to bring up. One, it's communication. Two, design of the pool. And three, project management, making sure the project runs well. So one, communication is so key. I want to make sure that my clients, I ask them all the right questions. What kind of pool do they want? What's their dream build? What's their budget? How much do they plan on spending? And then I want to make sure that I communicate with them too. What am I seeing in their backyard? Is there slopes? Is there inclines, declines? Potential things that might change the design. What's the access like? We got to be able to make sure we can get heavy equipment in and out. We've got the excavators, we've got bobcats, we've got multiple crews that are going to be going in and out of the backyard, and we need to make sure that we have a wide enough space. If not, we need to see what kind of contingencies that we need to have in order to make that happen. So also, hey, what kind of pool do you guys want? I want to be budget friendly. We're a quality pool builder, so we're never going to side on, being the cheapest company. But I just need to make sure the clients know the quality that they're getting, right? There's McDonald's and there's fine dining. McDonald's, you're going to be able to eat still. The fine dining restaurant, you're still going to be able to eat and get full of both. But the customer service at McDonald's might be lacking, and they're just going to spit you out and hey and get out. The quality of food is going to be lacking versus the fine dining. And hey, I work for a fine dining type of pool builder, so I got to make sure that I communicate that well, because there will be bids that they'll get that'll be a lot cheaper than ours. But so it's really, I really got to communicate well on the quality and make sure that my communication is showing that as well. So, and then the design phase. So I'm gonna walk you guys through the design and just what I come up with and keys that I see in their backyard. So I'll walk you guys through that now. All right, here we go. So this is one current project that I have out for a bid right now. So there's going to be three different designs. So this is kind of like a key with communication with their client. So one thing that I do is I will do some changes before I do ask for a contract. So in this particular case, the client initially wanted, a geometric pool, so rectangle. They wanted also a spa and a cobble shelf. So I made sure to input all those in this design. Also, another key factor was in-ground kitchen. So, and diamond pattern concrete. So I'll go over, what I did and put in this design. So here's a 3D design of it here. So first I'll start off with this diamond pattern concrete here. So I did a little differently. Usually these are more spaced out and gapped, but that would just require me to make even smaller squares, about 4-foot squares. I'm not really a big fan of them, and I did kind of want to change out the diamond pattern look here. The thing that I don't like about diamond patterns is going to be these small little pointed areas here. So these tend to crack in real life quite a bit. So that's a really a key thing in your designs, is to make sure that you're not just designing something that looks great on the computer, but that when they're actually in person, it's going to be functional, it's going to work really well, and you're not going to have stuff such as like cracking going on. So when you're done with the pool, the client's going to call you back and complain about that stuff, or it might even crack right away, which is generally what happens. So I did go with a spillover spa. This is a great look. It's a great look on the computer, and it's a great look in real life too as well. The only negative things that goes on here is that you have to have the water running constantly. Luckily now we use variable speed pumps, so the energy use is going to be minimum, because the pump will be able to tone down and run at its lowest. So, but it gives you a very clean, modern look. I love the black tile because it's pretty reflective, of the sky and everything that's going on. So, cobble shelf here. Here's an in-ground kitchen here. So stone finish. I did tile on the actual kitchen part and the raised wall with the TV. The patio cover here. I'm kind of going for a more modern look. With the wood, recessed wood, so make sure the lighting looks good. A fan, it's kind of always needed in here. Here's another little mini patio that they wanted here to step down into. The equipment's over here, so you got to make sure too when you're looking at an actual pool that we are going to be carving. There's a slope right here, and we're going to be carving into it, so you're going to need a retaining wall here. So, and then they had another idea. They did want to move and see a free-form pool, so I went ahead and did a freeform design. This is going to be the first freeform design that I did. I'll tell you somewhat about it, so don't take up too much of your time here on that. So this is the look that I got for the freeform. I did go a little bit more on the landscaping details here. Wanted that to fit in. So here's a freeform. This is all completely custom. There's no other pool that I have done with the exact same layout, so there's always going to be similar, right? Freeform's kind of been done plenty of times here. I always go with the freeform spa. The bench right now, the computer is kind of picking up this weird thing right here, so just ignore that. So I want to also keep with the same kind of like modern look. The diamond patterns just wouldn't really work out in this pool, so I did a layout here. I moved it over to the side of the computer, but yeah, this is where you're going to have a lot of cracking, especially long term. You don't want the client to have to deal with that. So I just went solid concrete here with the band here. That's going to help lock in the turf. There's a concrete curb, so this might be real grass or a planter that they might do in real life. So I leave a little bit of gap for also drainage, because the pool water has to flow away from the pool, and then this water's got to flow away from the house, so there's going to be some drainage in here, so I left a little gap. Again, same. I go 4 steps. That way you can have a light over the cobble shelf. It looks great at night, and you always want to keep in mind where you're setting the lights. So this is the same. The design didn't change. I just added the furniture. But what they wanted to do is they wanted to move the spa to this back corner here, and then add a waterfall. So I'll show you that waterfall design that came out with. So it looks great. A great look. So, and this is, hours of work. I do try to look up some landscaping online and follow some landscaping companies. That way I get really practical and real life ideas of what the landscaping will look like. So here's a waterfall I did. In this program, you don't have the greatest waterfalls that already kind of come pre-made, so I did set all these rocks, scaled them all, rotated what I needed to rotate, and then added in the water. So spa's back here. I'm not a big fan of moving the spa away from the house. I just keep in mind, wintertime, when it's cold season, I would rather walk out to a spa closer to the house and further away to use it. But I think the look here, it fits really well. So they're able to check out the in-ground kitchen here, watch the TV, and then it gives them more concrete space here. So it does make sense. And then I added a little planter just to kind of break up the concrete a little bit more. So this is called like a notch beam rock, where it's kind of inset. It looks like a part of the pool, so it's being set right on top. So again, here's the kitchen right here, swim-up bar, towel cap bar stools. This is all stuff that you got to really keep in mind, making sure that these are spaced out far apart enough, and it's got to be practical, functional, and enjoyable. So here's some steps. I'll give you guys a little view from inside. Bear with me. Inside the kitchen, what they'll be looking at. Oops. So it's gonna be a great look. Walking down, checking things out. So yeah, here's the house layout. You always want to take pictures, make sure that you're getting very accurate layout of the house, the colors of the roof, the windows. So this is all to scale. So They should all fit. Gotta keep in mind the setbacks too as well from the city that they're in. So yeah, killer look, awesome pool. It does take hours and hours of work, but I feel like if you go all out, especially in the landscaping, part of it, you would do want to finish the look. The clients can be happy and more eager to sign. So again, I'm looking forward to hopefully building this pool. I will keep you guys updated if and when I get it. So, but yeah, thank you for tagging along, joining me on this journey I'm doing in life. So I hope this page is encouraging. This is really meant for, some contractors, some backyard contractors, hopefully some pool builders, and some young ones like me that are out there. I do work for a company, so I have my boss, but, I've learned everything from him, and just try to do my best every day. So every day for the company I work for and the clients that I have. So, yep, I just want to bring value to society. So if you like my page, you like what you've seen so far, just give it a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe. So, thank you.